All right, everyone, we're here for the Titan Lords faction review. I'm Philip, my co-host is Kieran. Let's go into it. So we'll start with the base rules. The first one is honor code. So this is the identical one to the Battle Brothers, I believe. So if you're shaken at the beginning of the round, roll a 4 up, and you stop being shaken, it's a fine rule. Less good for these guys than I think Battle Brothers, but still just on its own, having shaken units is just awful when you have low model counts. So this could come in clutch. What do you think?
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, right? It's so much worse when you're just running these guys if one guy gets shaken, and this means that, hey, you'll probably be able to activate next turn anyway, which is useful.
So their next one that is, I think it's unique to them, it's delayed action. It's been changed a few times since the beta, but how it's settled is once per round, if your opponent has more units left to activate than you, then this model may pass its turn instead of activating. May still be activated later. So there's a couple of key things with this. One, you can't use this if you've already activated the model because it has to be part of its activation. And two, it's conditional to you having less activations than your opponent. So you can't use this to out-activate your opponent, but it can stop you from being out-activated.
Yeah, so when we tried this out, the thing that you kind of really need to remember with this is that that limitation of your opponent still can't have less than you as a result. And so if you kill a unit that hasn't activated, which is usually just purely a benefit, you also can't delay. And with these guys, you kind of do want to delay a bunch to get the opportunity to get the first shots in a lot of situations and to avoid the enemy's sort of anti-tank and other things. So, but it also, its usefulness goes down over the course of the game as well, right?
If you're
It's
taking
most
your opponent's
useful.
stuff off the board, then yeah, it starts to not even be playable. But I mean, that means you're winning the game, so that's good.
Well, I mean, as we found out, not necessarily. But yeah, it's also less useful because you start to be in a situation where you're always in engagement with your opponent, so you want to go first anyway. Only put this a few times, I think, in a list, and put it on your big guys that will definitely not be dying first, and you probably won't activate first.
Yeah, 100% agree. Don't put this on every unit that you got because you just won't be able to get value out of that many delayed actions. But I think, yeah, the big guys who you're going to be wanting to save last, maybe the guys at the back, would be really good picks. And it actually comes in clutch. So it comes in clutch right at the start of the game when you really don't want to move out and give your opponent easy shots. You can sort of delay a bit and make sure that they have to either save their anti-tank or just take like a not so good option. But it also comes into play right at the very end of the game in turn 4, because it means that no matter what happens, if you've got some of these delayed actions, your opponent just can't sneakily out-activate you and just snipe some objectives for free. You can use these delayed actions to make sure that you're still activating in line with your opponent. So for the price, found, so good.
Yeah, it is cheap, and it's utility, and it's just an option, and it's the same price regardless of size of the mech, right? Yeah, you are right, I guess, as well. In that last turn, it can make the difference because a lot of the time in the last turn, it's you and your opponent trying to make those last-ditch attempts to flip objectives, and you can sort of imagine the situations where this would come up, where you've got sort of two options, and your opponent's waiting to see what you go for, and simply by virtue of the fact you can delay a single turn, you can give yourself the final choice. Not literally the final choice, but, you know, like, your opponent has to dedicate one of his units that he was going to use to intercept you to assume you're going this way or that way. And so now you've got like a better outcome in that situation, in that clutch last minute move. So yeah, it does have some use at the end of the game. but it won't come up every game. But when it does, it will feel you'll be glad you have it.
Now, each of these vehicles, they have unique upgrades. They're the same across the entire army. They actually don't have any heroes whatsoever. Everything is its own hero, which can choose from these upgrades. So we'll start from the top. So, this is the same for Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights. They're all encapsulated in this. So, Disciple of War. Enemies that roll to block hits from this model's weapons, so that's ranged and melee, take 1 extra wound for each unmodified result of 1 that they roll. So it's Shred for ranged and melee for 5 points.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Take this on anything you don't want the other stuff on. Just by default, it's always useful and it's so cheap. 5 points.
This is the default. And I just want to rant about this a bit. I think Tano's messed up. So this is the Vassal Micro-Titan. It is the cheapest Titan. It has the worst weapons and the least amount of damage it can do, and it costs 5 points. This is a King Heavy Titan that's loaded with monstrous weapons, and it also has a 5-point shred upgrade.
Huh.
Why? Why is that the case, Tano? Everything else scales. Plague-bound scales, lust-bound, change-bound, the regen, everything scales. This doesn't. Why?
It's a rounding error, right? It's the army building.
It's absurd. Yeah. The more valuable the Titan that you're bringing, the more ridiculous this discount becomes, and the more must-take it becomes. This might get patched later, but as soon as I saw this, I didn't. Does that make sense to you? That it seems ridiculous, right?
No, yeah, it's clearly it's a mistake, right?
There's something wrong.
There's no reason you just give shred to all weapons at all levels and cost it 5 points, regardless.
No, it's already one of the strongest rules in the game, and now it's just ridiculously cheap. But there you go, Titan Lords players. You got an incredible rule for cheap.
Enjoy while it lasts.
Yeah. So next one, Lustbound. So moves +1 inch when using advance and +3 when doing a rush or charge. So it's a weaker fast, but you can stack it with fast.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it for certain circumstances because there's melee units in here that can take advantage of this, which is where I would start to value it more than Warbound. What do you think about it?
Anytime you can outrange your opponent on a charge is good when you're looking at skirmish v skirmish front lines. I don't think on some units it does. I don't see the appeal as much, but definitely the stuff that can grab fast as well. And now all of a sudden, most opponents who have fast-based armies like alien hives, you just get to outrange them unless they've built assuming you're going to do the same. And that's pretty nice. And extra movement's always fun.
I really like these for the Vassal Micro-Titans because their equivalent for the fast upgrade gives Scout Strider. So they get to Scout, and then they don't have the fast, but what this does is it gives them a semi-fast, so they can now reach into the opponent's deployment using this and their Scout, and they can get that turn 1 guaranteed first activation charge. Which is quite nice.
Definitely better to zone your opponent out of the midfield even more if they want to avoid that charge, which they probably won't bother at that point.
So Disciple of Change, so Changebound, when units where all models have this rule are shot or charged from over 9 inches away.
Stealth.
Yeah, well, it's against melee too for long range charges. Enemy units get -1 to hit. It's pretty good. You can't stack it with anything, unlike the Changebound armies, Change Brothers. So you can never get a -2 here, but just a -1 to hit is just great in general, especially for this price on this amount of wounds that you're getting toughness.
Yeah, but you get kind of lost in the sauce building these guys. You want to just keep strapping on more and more upgrades, and it really gives you the option to do that. I think Changebound, while -1 to hit, is good. I think the one thing you're not looking for in this list is more tankiness.
And a lot of this list does like being in people's face, which is the other aspect of it. There's a lot of, I mean, you can just choose not to take it on those units that are in their face, but then you want to take
And this,
Warbound.
well, the stuff that isn't in their face too is not going to be the stuff they're as scared of and shooting at, right? The giant mech right in your face with chainsaws for arms is much more scary than one of the difference with a gun, especially one with a gun that you can't even be bothered shooting at. It feels like feels like too much to me. Feels like a waste.
It's the one I struggle to use the most, I think. And Plaguebound. Okay, so when a unit where all models have this rule takes wounds, roll 1 die for each. On a 6+, it is ignored. This stacks with regen as well, by the way. So you can have your defense roll, and then a regen, and then a 6-up, and then they get to do damage to you.
It's a discount regen that doesn't get ignored by things that ignore regen.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Yep, and you can stack things like, I mean, I wouldn't always recommend it, but you can have the Fortified, and then you can have the Regen, and then you can have the Plaguebound, and now you're extremely tanky, even against AP4 fire. There's a lot of hoops that they have to jump through.
But it's excessive, I think, at that point, right?
Yeah, you're not going to die, but you got to kill things too.
The real drawback here of Plague, Disciple of Plague, is it competes with Disciple of War.
Yep.
For 4 times the price, even on the smallest mech.
Well, I mean, it gets ridiculous once you get up to the King Heavy Titan. It gets to 75 points versus 5 points, which is just like no.
Yeah, but even on the small one, which we can assume is probably more likely accurate. Yeah.
All right. So they have a new unit for this edition. They've added a Vassal Micro-Titan, a little guy with tough 9, which is a huge upgrade to the list. Gives them the ability to just have some early activations and fill out their list on top of this delayed action, to the fact that they're not really going to get out-activated anymore, at least not as easily. So let's go through it. So base quality 3, defense 2. He's got fear 1, fortified at base. He's got the I'll get rid of these upgrades. There we go. He's got tough 9 and honor code. Now you can get rid of the fortified to add extra weapons. Are we always doing this? More weapons, more fun?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
He's already tough. You don't need I'd rather double the melee output or whatever output.
Look, there's a small argument to be made that your scouting Vassal Micro-Titans are getting smacked up turn 1 by your opponent's anti-tank, so getting that extra neg 1 AP, getting a slightly better save, you can make an argument for it, but yeah, it still just doesn't feel worth. I'd just take the regen and trust in regen.
Trust in the mechanicum. So pretty good rate, 200 points for a tough 9 defense 2 quality 3 with fear and the heavy hammers. Now he's incredibly cheap just base, but you kind of want to spend on him because there's some pretty impactful upgrades we can pick here. So you can take the delayed action. Like we said, we kind of want the delayed action on the big guys because these guys are going to be making moves. And they're more likely to die. So if you take delayed actions on the bigger guys, you're more likely to have it at the end. You can take regen. Regen's always a good upgrade. If you can afford it, great option to have. This one is the one that's most interesting to me, though, the Vanguard config. You get Scout and Strider. You telling me I can get tough 9 defense 2 with Scout and Strider? I'm in. Let's do it. So how I would like to run these, I'm snap picking Scout and Strider. I will pick Lustbound. The reason is you get the 12-inch advance, 12-inch Scout. Then with the Lustbound 15-inch charge, you can then get your turn 1 first activation charge. In terms of weapons, it's dealer's choice, really. What I'm looking at here, I suppose we'll go through each of them. So you've got the Heavy Lance, which is 3 attack, +1 to hit, +1 AP when charging. Heavy Chainsaw for your deadly 3 AP 2 attacks. You've got 2 attack AP4 attacks, so you lose 2 attacks if you double up on these weapons for going AP4. You've got AP1 Rending, Reliable Rending, and then AP1 Reliable. So out of these, I like the Thrust, and I'll sort of explain why. So the Thrust Heavy Lance, it's on the charge, it's exactly the same as the 15-point Heavy Claw. It's a 2-up to hit with the quality bonus for thrust, and it's an AP1 with the thrust as well. So it's only worse when you are charged, and I'm willing to pay for that with a discount to be slightly worse when charged to get a cheaper charge for the same quality. What are you thinking between all these weapons?
I struggle. I get where you're coming from with the thrust attacks, and definitely if I was going lustbound, I'd consider thrust, but that's not how I picture it. It's not how I would play it. I like rending. I like rending a lot, especially in this edition. It feels
Reliable
like
or AP1 rending?
That's a toss-up. I mean, I think AP1 is going to be better. You're a 3-up to hit, so moving to a 2-up puts you from a 4 and 6 to a 5 and 6 chance. You're only getting 1 in 4 more hits, whereas a 2-up save to a 3-up save is twice as many wounds, is the way I think about it. And yeah, if you're on the high end anyway, like if your opponent already had low armor, they're roughly equivalent in terms of the like beneficial roll outcomes. But if your opponent has better armor, the AP1 is a bigger jump up. So yeah, AP1 for me.
This is an extra AP nothing hit, and this is extra damage against high defense targets. This will blend chaff, and this one goes into anything that's not chaff. So pick your poison, same points. Ever picking AP4? You lose 2 attacks, which is crippling to me. I hate that.
Not worth the thing about this list is you are desperate for number of attacks, for blast, for whatever you can to scratch through bigger model count enemy units.
And if you do want AP4 on these lads, they have this gun. So you can lose a melee weapon, and you get a 24-inch AP4 Deadly 6. It's pretty good. It's pretty scary.
Tried it
quality
out.
3.
I did try it out. Didn't find it as great on the Vassal Micro-Titan. I mean, you've got Scout and Strider, and it's like the small scouting unit. Given your entire army has access to 24-inch AP4 Deadly 6 sort of melter guns, it just feels like there's better placed, bigger tanks that can sit a bit further back and still be in range within a turn. It doesn't feel like the right place to take it.
So how are you running yours?
Warbound.
Warbound?
The two swords.
With the AP1?
Yep.
Scout Strider?
And then regen.
Regen.
Okay, so technically speaking, right, something like regen, a rule that is not take wound when you would take a wound, is better the more tough you have, technically. But that kind of ignores an essential function known as shield gating, or gating damage. If you're taking a lot of deadly fire, being able to save even 1 wound means that you now step that unit outside of being killable by the next deadly shot. So say here you've got 3 deadly 3 hits hit this tank, you only save 1, you're fine. The next deadly shot is wasted. And psychological effects on your opponent, I guess I'll just shoot my rifles at it and I'll just get 1 hit and go through and blah, blah, blah. And like consistently opponents will see that and make that attempt and then just fail, and then they wasted the shooting, and it's a really good psychological effect on your opponent, as well as just being, because most people don't build for lots of attacks at high AP, but you build for deadly because it's the best way to jump up your damage against tanks. I think on the smaller units, regen actually does more than it does on the big units.
It's a good rate for regen because you're getting 9 wounds worth of regen on defense 2 for 30 points. That's roughly what you'd pay for a Space Marine squad, which has, not as good defense. So, yeah, hard to argue with regen. If I was running them, and I do recommend running them, I would be going the
You
thrust
have to.
weapons. I would be going with Lustbound, and I would actually potentially pick up Caster. And a good time to talk about Caster. Do you recognize this spell list?
It does look kind of familiar.
This is an identical spell list to the Human Defense Force.
Is it?
It's perfectly identical with the one exception of Surge. We've got the Fracture, and they've got Surge.
Oh, that's crazy.
It is. So,
And yet it looks better on that. Nah.
well, let's talk about it. So, Caster 1, friendly unit within 12 gets +1 morale test once. It's obviously great. +1 morale test from quality 3 going to quality 2 is good. If you have the opportunity to cast this and you haven't got anything critical you need to destroy that second, then that's a good option. This is, as I said, identical to the boost
HDF.
version of the HDF. Yeah. So pick one enemy unit, Electric Tempest, within 12 inches that takes 2 hits with AP1 and Surge. So on 6s, you get an extra hit. It's okay. Again, shotgun attack,
Fine.
sure. Now, this is an interesting one. Calculated Foresight. Pick 2 enemy units within 18 inches with friendly units get Relentless against once. So obviously in HDF this is incredible because our units are trash, they're quality 5. So getting Relentless is a 50% increase in damage. Now, in Titan Lords, your minimum quality is 3. So already not as good value. But there's another problem where Relentless is of course only for shooting, and your shooting Titans have Relentless base. So this spell is specifically for the melee or mixed Titans to get Relentless 2, which is not something I want to pay 2 points for. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I hadn't even seen that, but now that you've said it, 100%. Unless you're getting up to the big Titans, are the big Titans the same issue? Doesn't
So
look like
there is
they
a
have.
shooty big Titan, the Duke Titan with Relentless, and then the King Heavy Titan kind of has the same amount of shooting, but he's got 30 wounds. So the big Titan, big shooty Titan is the Duke, and he's got it.
Yeah, okay, so it does seem kind of superfluous at that stage. Unless you're running a mixed list.
Unless you're running a mixed list.
And I could see that being quite good.
And I guess one thing to consider as well is these range Titans like the Yeoman, when they have this Relentless rule, all these guns go up in price. You have to pay for this Relentless rule in the guns. So you can get cheaper Relentless by running that spell and having a Pilgrim, because they get, see 15 points for the Gatling Cannon for him, and the Yeoman, he has to pay 30. So, and they're identical. So you do kind of get a discount, but of course you've got half the guns. So
Yeah,
you have to make that decision in your list building. Searing Burst. So pick one enemy unit within 12 inches that takes 6 hits. So this is why I'm kind of interested in the Vassal Micro-Titan
more shots.
Caster 2. Yeah, so this guy slams in. He gets his first turn charge with his lances, and then he's got his stomp, and then he can also fire off a Searing Burst into whatever he charged into too. And that's 6 automatic hits that he can fire off every turn. Of course on a 4-up. But that's going to start to get some pretty good amount of damage into low defense units.
Yeah.
Especially because he hits on 2 in melee with these lances.
Like a large number of attacks in that 2 caster slot, caster cost spell slot is good. Anywhere I've seen it in here, yes, particularly good where you are struggling for volume of attacks. It's also good for those charge units, like you're saying. particularly because these hits will be extra wounds in that combat to guarantee you the win and to stop them from hitting you back as hard. Yeah, just a great spell.
All right, and then we got shock speed for 3. So pick 3 friendly units within 12 inches. They get +2 when advancing and +4 when rush charging. This stacks with fast, and this stacks with lost bounds. So you can get very fast boys. What are we talking? 23 inches?
Yep.
Yep, that is fast. So they can really cross the board if you get this off. You have to start to spend to get a caster 3, though. You need to get the 700 point minimum ones to be able to choose a caster 3 psychic lord upgrade. Otherwise, you're using your other ones and saving your tokens between turns. But that's a good upgrade. Sorry, a good spell to cast.
Good spell.
If you are, using it. If you're running some melee guys. And finally, expel threat for 3. Pick one enemy model within 18 inches, which takes 6 hits with AP1. Love it. Great spell.
Yeah.
Situational, but great. Great to just, like you said,
the
kill a
real
Space Marine commander or something.
The real difficulty of this spell list is those are great, but you've got to spend too much to get that caster to cast them, and I don't know that I would at that stage of play. I like specifically Searing Burst.
Yeah.
I
Just
think
as a
that's
value, just treat it like a gun. It's a 40-point gun upgrade to have this.
Yeah.
Well, it's a melee one too.
Yeah. And Psi-Injected Courage as well, just as a buff. I don't know. The other stuff seems pretty decent, but I can't really see myself using much more. Just like you said, taking the cast 2 option, and then I'd just pop Searing Burst as much as I can, and if I couldn't cast it, probably just the Psi-Injected Courage.
Yep. So Vassal Micro-Titans in general, so they bring something really good for the list to have these cheaper models you can activate first, take a bit more risks with, push around the board, and most importantly, be in different places than your big Titans. Because that was always the problem, is that at the end of the game you've got, say, 2 or 3 Titans, maybe one's died, you got 2 left. Well, there's 5 objectives. What happens if
What are you gonna do?
yeah, you just lose. Whereas the Vassal Micro-Titan gives you that option that you can have enough that you can potentially hold 3 and win, or be in your opponent's backfield getting progressive, or all the missions. Just useful to have more guys on the field. It's always good.
Yep. They're also at base cost in the price range of a lot of people's infantry. Not their chaff, but their infantry.
Especially once you take off these upgrades. If you can run them super cheap, they're 225 points for Huff Nungo Defense 2.
Yeah.
Good.
It'll do the trick. And what we discovered in actual play of this list is that just one of 2 of these guys on the flank is going to be hard for your opponents, like weaker flank lines, to deal with.
Yeah, and I also wanted to say it's rare to have Defense 2 tough scout. It's very rare, actually. And it's a good thing to have because you actually bullied my Gene Stealers. And Snatchers are some of the scariest scouting. So anything else that's less than them is just going to get absolutely bullied by these things. And Scout, anytime I see Scout, it's just an incredible, because you can just counter deploy your opponent if they've messed up anywhere, or that you can misdirect them into going into one side, but you're really looking at the other side, and you can plop 2 or 3 of these down. Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. I enjoyed it.
All right, so let's go into the bigger boys. We've got the Errant Mini-Titan. So he has Furious, so he is melee. He has the option of running double melee. He's got Tough 12, Fear 2, same quality 3, Defense 2.
Nothing wasted.
No, he doesn't have to have guns if he didn't want them, and you shouldn't take guns. So, again, let's take the Titan Shield off, get more weapons. Now you actually have to start making choices here with his weapons. Again, the slight increase in terms of the upgrade. Plaguebound's got slightly more expensive, Warbound's the same. This is where you actually start having to make decisions. if he's melee, Lustbound is an incredible option because he's going to be getting value of that 3-inch rush charge every turn. He has a different configuration than the Vassal, where he doesn't get Scout, but he gets Assault config. So he gets Fast and Strider, which are two incredible rules as well.
Yep,
I think this is
perfectly
auto pick
cohesive.
Fast Strider on a melee unit.
Look, if you're going to have 5 models in your army, they may as well have Strider so you don't get bogged down and unable to play at all, ever.
Well, especially because he's melee. There's nothing worse than having a 6-inch maximum move.
Oh, yeah, don't I know it?
Yeah, your opponent is like 7 inches away, just slightly into difficult terrain. You can't touch him because you'd have to move more than 6. Yeah, nah. Let's get that
Nah.
Strider rule. So
Fast also good. In the older edition, I played in 3.4. I did play some of these guys in sort of a mixed list. And the one thing that I realized is that if it doesn't have fast and it doesn't scout, it's gonna waste turns, and that really sucks. So yeah.
yeah, so the difference
Auto pick.
between a non-fast, non-Strider and a fast Strider might be turn 2 charge, in which case you get potentially 3 rounds of melee, or turn 3 charge, 2 rounds of melee. It's a big difference. So he's got upgraded melee weapons. He's got more attacks, but roughly the same rate between them. Now, he's more of an investment. Are we starting to look at AP4 here, or are you sticking to your AP1 rending?
It's difficult because of the price as well. I mean, it's a small price difference. I think I still stick to AP1 rending. I
So
think
you're
in
going
this
heavy
army,
swords.
yeah, I mean the extra attacks too. It's not double anymore, which is nice. But yeah, look, for anti-tank, I don't think you're going for the smaller, like AP4 melee. I think you're going for the fusion blasters, the 24-inch guns.
So,
And,
oh,
AP1 rending will pocket anti-tank as well.
now are you looking? So you've got your
So Warbound,
AP1
yeah.
rending. You're going straight Warbound again. Warbound all day, every day with regen.
Look, once you, yeah, I like regen. Beyond the errant though, I don't. Regen starts to get too expensive on the models, and it starts to get in that realm of, look, your entire army's defense 2 up, tough units. Your opponent's not going to be able to kill a lot of your army, and the part they're going to probably have to kill and interact with first is going to be the scouting stuff right in their face from the start of the game. So yeah, this is probably where regen ends with me in this list.
And with Titan Lords, you only have to worry about the anti-tank. So you can just focus all your attention into dealing with the anti-tank, and then you pretty much have free reign after that. So yeah, you don't need regen on everyone, but for how I look at running this guy, when I see tough 12, I don't take Warbound. There we go. So I see tough 12, I see Furious Fear 2, Defense 2. It's a combat walker to me. I know it's only 8 attacks AP4, but it's 8 attacks Furious quality 3. That's good enough. As scary for going into tanks, and he's going to do okay into other combat walkers. And I give him Lustbound, so he's running around quick, and of course Fast Strider, and yeah, delayed action, of course, because he's one of the bigger ones. So this is where you start to get your delayed action. And 455 points for a combat walker that runs 19 every turn. I'll take it.
Pretty dang fast.
Pretty scary, and he's pretty smacky in melee. Warbound is a serious consideration though, so you're gonna have to think about this, because God, is it annoying to roll ones against Warbound against every one of these attacks. But
yeah,
Lustbound's hard to pass with a Purely melee guy. Anything else to say about this one? Never upgrade the guns because he needs to run all the time, or he's meleeing.
Yep, charging or running. Anything else is a waste.
Are we considering caster 2 here? It's the same
You
cost as the
can.
other one.
It is the same cost. I'd rather have on this guy than on the scouts, because the scouts, while being quite tough, are actually not that unlikely to get killed. This guy is a lot tougher a nut to crack, especially with regen.
Don't take change bound on him because he's going to be running in front anyway. You're not going to be able to use this very often. All right, let's go into the mixed version, the Pilgrim Mini-Titan. So again, tough 12.
Don't take it.
He doesn't. Well, okay. So there's some things to think about with this guy, but yes, he's niche. So he's cheap. That's his thing. So you get
notoriously 50 points more than the Errant Mini-Titan.
right, but he's got cheaper guns. All his guns are way cheaper than the Yeoman. So if you want mixed, this is like a nice cheap way to get both if you're not sure if you're going to commit fully to melee. With Warbound, since it's shooting in melee, you can shoot, you walk up to someone, shoot them, and then they say melee you, and you still get all the value of Warbound with your stomps as well. But how would you run him? If I put a gun to your head and said you have to run him, how are you running him?
I'd just let you shoot me, honestly. No. Look, okay. There is something to be said about the answer of, like, a lot of units that I have that have some shooting and melee, if I just move up and shoot you with them, you're going to have something that wants to charge them. But it's just hard when this thing, by its nature, will be pretty good at punching back, so your opponent's going to be warded off doing that. I don't know. It's okay. Yeah, gun to my head. I think I keep the melee weapons relatively cheap to incentivize being charged.
Can I just show you something? So
yeah,
just a plain Fusion Blaster Pilgrim Mini-Titan with, say, Warbound is 355 points. A Vassal Micro-Titan with a Fusion Blaster is 280 points with Warbound, 285 points. So for 65 points, you get Tough 12 and Fear 2. Is that worth it to you? If you were going to run the Vassal Micro-Titan with the Fusion Blaster?
I guess, but I wouldn't feel the draw to run that Vassal Micro-Titan.
He's yeah, you have to have a plan with this guy. How would I run him? I wish these weren't so expensive. Why are these so expensive? 50 points for a machine gun, 3 attacks?
It's an additional gun. It's more shots for the... It's not replacing anything.
I would try and keep him as cheap as possible.
Gatling?
Potentially. And I would also have maybe that. So I'd have the AP1 rending, and then I'd just go charge deadly things, stuff with high toughness like tanks and things. And if someone melees me, then I'll still got my Gatling gun to shoot.
Look,
so I can shoot at full power.
Honestly, we need to listen to Marie Kondo here, and does this spark joy? No,
it
not
doesn't
at all.
spark joy. No, it's a tool. It's a shitty tool.
Yeah. And if you take it, you're also a tool.
this is the standard 40k model, chainsword and like battle cannon.
Look, I love the idea, and I guess if you're playing with the advanced action where you can do
Yes,
both.
that's the thing. The advanced actions, this actually starts to shine. Because then I would probably run the reliable weapons and actually have a good chance of hitting in melee with a -1, and you get to shoot melee. Hell, I'd probably have a caster at that point, so you shoot melee and cast into someone.
Yeah, sword and gun, gish, whatever you want to call it. It's a fun thing, and I like it when it can work. It just doesn't feel right in OPR.
Yeah, so with this, I think you have to beg your group to run the advanced activations, and then he's good.
I still wouldn't go that far.
Relentless. That's his thing. And he gets 2 guns. So he starts with 2 of the AP4 Deadly 6 guns for 24 inches
He's
already.
perfect already.
He's
500
great.
points with Warbound.
Well, he's not quite perfect because I would add another one. I'd add another
Yeah,
Fusion
true.
Blaster as well. And then I would click this button for Warbound so that, God forbid, if my opponent rolls a 1 on their defense against any of these deadly weapons, they get smacked with Deadly 12. That's going to feel bad. Just picking up your Hive Tyrant because you dared roll a 1. Yeah. No notes, really. He's terrifying. Of course, take the delayed action on him. Fast Strider is not 100% necessary. You can save 45 points here because he's a shooting guy, but with the Fusion Blasters, it's also not a bad option. Would you be running Fast Strider?
Look, when I tried this, I did, just because I thought, look, it's better to be able to move than to not. But to be honest, he just kind of dawdled forwards towards a point and just shot a bunch. That was his entire experience of being on the board. Yeah, yeah. If you feel like you need it, yes.
I don't
But
think
no,
he needs
I
almost
probably
anything. I'd probably take delayed action, and that's
Yeah.
it. Delayed action, Warbound, 2 very impactful upgrades for 25 points. He comes great with all the fusion. Add an extra fusion on top, so you got 3 shots. Very scary for tanks to have this guy out there.
Do you ever take either of the other 2 guns though?
I would take them, but it's
So pricey.
they are pricey, but they're generalist. So, I don't like this one. I don't like the Gatling cannon. I actually like the AP2 one.
Yeah.
The one aspect I don't like about it, I wish this was 24 inches as well. If I could get this for
So you got a
24,
discount.
yeah, this is probably 25 points or something. Maybe less. But I'll take it. I like massed AP2 shots. Good to go into Marines
Everything.
or just, veterans at quality 4, or even vehicles don't like taking mass AP2. So you're giving me 12 AP2 shots with Relentless on quality 3. That's good enough. That's actually pretty good. That's what, 10 hits? I'll take
10
it.
hits on average, yeah, that's 5 wins against a tank.
That's good. Out 36 inches, that's fine. And at Space Marine squad or anything, it's just been completely messed up. But it's not as perfect as the just AP4 Deadly 6, 24 inches. That's just flawless anti-tank. It's hard to argue with. So if you need your anti-tank, this is your guy. And if you need something else, then yeah, you can branch him out a little bit. This mass AP2 is fine. Never take Lustbound. Just Warbound's right there and it's cheaper. Changebound is potentially good because he's got the long range guns. Plaguebound, yeah, it's okay. Any more notes with him?
No, no.
He's
I
great.
mean,
This is probably an auto include for me. You?
Yeah, with the 2 fusion blasters, yeah, you need anti tank, and it feels like such a waste putting on anything smaller. And if you're gonna spend that much on a big anti tank gun, you may as well be on something with Relentless and stack as many of them as possible. So, yeah, pretty much an auto take.
All right, let's go into the big lads. So all of these are available at 2K. These next ones are 3k and up only. So starting with the
some of
Questor,
them not even allowed at 3k, which is
hilarious.
whack.
So Questor Titan. So he's got tough 24.
What do you keep calling it?
Questor.
Not Questor?
It's Questor, isn't it? It's the title,
It's
Questor.
no, surely it's Questor.
You guys tell us in the comments.
Tell him he's wrong. If I'm wrong, don't tell me.
He's Fear 4, Fortified Furious. So he's the melee, the bigger melee version of the Errant. He's got double the wounds, going from tough 12 to tough 24. What else do we get? We get more attacks. So we can have 18 AP4 attacks if we like. That's a lot of attacks. But you can have 24 of the AP1 reliable or the reliable rending. On top of the stomps, we're looking at 32 attacks. Some of them are AP2. That's a lot. That is a lot. Can we get rid of that health user? We can't. Suffering.
Let's change it to something else.
Just, I'd rather just forget it exists. I'm not going to put more points in that hole. Okay, so Warband is 5 points again. Cue my suffering. This is getting to auto take land now with this many attacks at 5 points. I am struggling to not click that. Any reason to take? I mean, Lustbound on a melee guy, sure, but
well, you don't have access to fast here.
no. So he just has Strider for 30 points, which is still worth it, by the way. You do not want this guy held up by difficult terrain.
No.
He's got the caster 3 for 65 points. That's a lot, though. 65 points.
I mean, consideration just so you can speed yourself up
with the shock speed.
Yeah, shock speed. Also, the point is like trying to cast shock speed to get yourself to go faster. Oh, you cast it, you also get 2 other units get the benefit of it.
2 potentially very, very fast melee units.
Mm.
Are you interested in 90-point regen on tough 24?
No. Why?
I mean,
maybe if I'm playing 5,000 points and everyone has 6 gorillion.
It's hilarious defenses. You click this button and you can't die at 3,000 points.
Yeah, but I feel like once you've got a defense 2 tough 24, you can't die anyway.
Yeah, and you can just not shoot it. You can just be like, I give up. You have that model at the end of the game.
Yeah, I'll kill everything else.
Yeah. It's a lot of points too, 90 points. Tough 24, I think, is enough defense. Tough 24 defense too.
Clearly, the real strategy is to run 3 of these fully kitted out with regen and just go walk them up, sit on a point, go, good luck. I'm not even going to interact with you this game. I'm just going to put these models that are so big that they stop you from being in range of the objective on the objectives, and then I don't even have to roll anything. Just go and shoot them.
Well, this amount of melee is like squad ending. This is game over for anything that tries to kill it. Now, what are you picking? Are you still in reliable rending or AP1 reliable, or are you tipping over into AP4 land? Because I'm in AP4 land now.
I'm in AP4 land now, solidly.
18 AP4 attacks, yes please, with Furious. This is where you have your kaiju fights, and this guy's going to probably come out on top with pretty much anything. Quality 3 Furious.
I'd also consider the Titan Chainsword.
Okay, so the Deadly.
I mean, that's enough attacks with AP2 Deadly that
8 attacks, 24 deadly attacks, and they're Furious too, and Warbound. So if he rolls 1 on any of those, he's taking Deadly 6. Yeah, that's pretty good actually, because that minimizes the AP2 damage a little bit, because it makes those low rolls that you need for AP1 even better. AP2.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, interesting option.
Wouldn't be my first pick by any extension. I feel like you're better off just relying on your what are they called, fuses, across the board to do the job, and then that AP4 will also shred a vehicle. I mean, 18 hits. Sorry, 18 attacks at AP4 with your normal chance to hit is 12
But he's
hits.
furious too.
Ah, even better. 12 plus 3, 15 hits.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think on average there you're doing over the 12 tough 12.
Yeah, you'll kill a tough 12 on average before the stomps.
Yeah,
Before the stomps. And yeah.
more
Anyway.
attacks feels excessive on this.
Seems good though. For 910 points, pretty good. You can start to get really spendy with these upgrades, but I think Strider is fine. Consider the caster just to make him
Well, you
faster
take,
and other things.
like I said, don't take the caster, just put on the regen. So you're up to 1,000 points. Add the regen.
You're gonna add the regen.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. 3 of these together. There's your 3K list. Put it on, 3 out of the
Loses to
5
4 recruits
objectives.
on turn 4.
Well, you say that, but if you can't physically get within range of the objective, and you can't physically scratch these, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a weird. It's such a skew list concept. Not that this army didn't already have that problem, but
Maybe 2 of these and like 4 Vassal Micro-Titans.
nah.
Yeah. Pretty good. As I said, 3k and up. But I like how pure he is, and this is getting into killing anything in the game territory, which is nice. Alright, so the next one is the Knight Titan. He's the tough 24 version of the Errant. He's got Fear 4, tough 24, and unique guns. So have you seen these guns?
Mm-mm.
So he's got mass AP3 shots, which I'm always a fan of. He's got the
Oh, wow.
AP4 Blast 3s. He's got heavy flamers and Tightling Gatling cannons. He's got some interesting options here. You still have to mix it with a hammer, but
You lose relentless.
you lose relentless. You're gonna have to use it from a spell or just give that up. Which one of these guns am I looking at? Can't really go past this one with the short range, reliable, comboing with the melee, but I would also consider this mass AP3 one as well. Which one pops out to you?
I don't like this. Basically, I kind of like the look of the plasma cannon, but then I think that Titan Pulse Laser is probably better. Lose the AP and not have to rely on the blast. But I mean, I don't know. It feels low on the number of shots because you've got that Gish situation going on. You can't swap out for 2 melee weapons, can you?
No, you have to have at least one shooting weapon. You can choose to forgo a melee weapon and just have the shots if you wanted, and run fortified and cheap. So you could.
Look, if I'm playing in the sort of game where I feel like I could need to run this, which would probably be even beyond 3K, into that 4K, 5K territory, I might actually consider the fortified.
Just to get a little bit of extra defense.
Well, your opponent's going to be rocking around with some serious ordnance, and that extra armor could be good at that stage. That's you. At that point, you just scale it down, and you're playing, Titan Legion sort of game.
I'm kind of thinking maybe this. So 4 blast 3 attacks, and I would probably run Warbound and just 3 las cannons. Rocking off quality 3 tough. It just doesn't feel like enough, does it?
No.
It doesn't feel like 865 points. It's the tough 24 making everything expensive. I guess you can just go AP4 and then what?
Yeah, like if you want a unit that's just going to survive on the board, you may as well have one that also kills things. Although it feels like it's Yeah.
It's got the upgraded weapons you can get. So you can
Look,
add extra blast, deadly, or unstoppable.
yeah. One good thing to consider about it is this, right? With just the melee weapon, one melee weapon, and its stomp, it's probably strong enough to kill anything in melee anyway. And then its guns is just sort of like, here's the alternate profile I can use. But the problem is, unfortunately, at the end of the day, you're paying points for both, and you're not going to use both.
No. Again, we go back to the advanced activations thing. Maybe just the Titan fusion cannon with the fusion hull fuser, and then you got the stomps. So like, if are you close to a vehicle, shoot it. Is there infantry around? Stomp them.
Stop them. Yeah.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
It's not. It is quite a lot of points. I can't say that's not a lot of points.
Spend a lot of points, but more, and get the Questor
this
instead.
needs Strider as well. It has to have Strider. Yeah, I think the Questor is the better option.
It's just the way you say it. How we're talking.
Now we got some guns. So
Real fucking guns.
we can go mass AP4, 6 AP4 blasts with Relentless. We can go the mass AP3. We can go Gatling cannons with heavy flamers. That's a lot of anti-infantry fire there. How much is that? That's 18, and then 2 heavy flamers on top. 24 equivalent with a hull
I feel
machine
like
gun.
if you're up against infantry, you just charge them, and just eight AP2, 3 up to hit stomp attacks will fight a lot of infantry.
Well, this is good. There's like certain armies that just have to charge you.
Careful.
So like, wormhole demons or a lot of hive alien hives, they have to charge these guys because that's how they're going to do serious damage, and then you can shoot them at full power. So you get the best of both worlds. He is more expensive though. 1135 is like at least 240 more than the other ones. But you're getting relentless guns. How would you be running him? You've got to pick Warbound. This is auto pick Warbound territory, people. Just pick it at this point.
Yeah.
If you got this many guns.
It'll get more expensive, presumably.
Yeah, I'm assuming Tanner's going to patch this, but yeah.
Yeah, I would assume so. I don't know. I probably wouldn't run the Gatling. Feels like a tremendous waste to me. I mean, just the base guns for AP4 Deadly Sixes is gonna peel like any tank. Like even its contemporary, thinking what it's gonna cover up against, that can pretty easily kill a Duke Titan, hypothetically. I don't know. Yeah, you could go the pulse laser as well. Might be an option. I definitely go that still over the cannon, right? Because it's the same
cannon?
number of over the Titan plasma cannon, right? Yeah. Same number of hits on average, but will hit more hits against things that aren't blastable in exchange for the AP loss, and I think that's worth it to me.
It's 2 more AP against defense 2 and cover, but yeah, this one will actually annihilate vehicles too, which is a hell of a lot of versatility.
So I think either the pulse laser, if I want it to have more versatility than the Deadly Six guns, or just stick to the Deadly Six guns. I just can't bring myself to buy a unit this size for like 18 AP1 rending shots. It's just not worth you. Yeah, it's just not worth it. Leave that to the melee mechs.
Strider on the shooter guy. 30 points. Kind of have to have a 1,000 point dude.
That's pretty cheap.
Delayed action also necessary.
Yeah. You put it on your biggest guys, as we discussed.
Regen.
No.
Caster.
Unless you're playing Apocalypse or What is the game I'm thinking of? Is it Epic 40k? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Armageddon.
Armageddon. Yeah. Yeah, unless you're playing with, Bane Blades of the equivalent of infantry in the game. Yeah, you don't need regen on something like this.
Yeah, I think the AP3 is the best option. Go the Warbound, Strider, delayed action, and then just leave it there. Pay 1230 points for your monster. Last one, King Heavy Titan. Tough 30. Tough 30. He's got twin shoulder cannons on top of his other cannons. So what's he got? He's got starting base with 24-inch, 2 attack, AP1 blast 3. And then he's got 2 AP4 deadly 9s. Then he's got a 2 attack hull fuser, deadly 3. And then he's got 10 AP3 stomps. Wow. You know what? He's kind of cool just base. For 1,080 points, he's actually pretty scary.
Well, yeah. For only 1,080 points, he can kill anything.
He's cheaper than the Duke Titan, and he's more versatile. He's got the shoulder cannons for the blast, and he's got tons of deadly as well. Again, 5-point warbound. All right, so Titan triple heavy flamer. So we can get rid of this deadly, and we can pick up 3 18-inch heavy flamers, or we can get 3 attack deadly 3
as well.
Yeah, so you could run lots and lots of
6
heavy flamers. It's no Ratman Clans Titan. But that's a lot of heavy flamers. You could break down the harpoon cannons into 3 deadly 3 shots instead of 1 deadly 9. You have to pay 85 points pop to do that though, and then you get the blast 3 AP4 option.
You also get the range.
You do get 12 inches more range, true. And we got extra guns on top. So we get top cannon, 2 attack AP1 blast 3, or a 2 AP3 to 24-inch large cannons. Okay. And yeah, we got the same Strider for slightly more points. Okay, this guy's
I can't fathom playing at a level of game where I feel like I need this.
It's not about need, it's about sending a message.
Ah, well then just put it on the board. Doesn't matter what it's equipped with, it will clearly send that message.
I like this base. This is kind of good. Because you got this to go into the infantry around, and then any vehicles around are just going to get absolutely mauled. And then he's got stomps.
Look, there's an argument to be made that turn 1 it might not be able to shoot, and for something that's 1,085 points,
that would be sad.
That would be pretty sad.
He's 1120 because you have to take Strider and delayed action.
Yeah. Well, you definitely, you want to make use of delayed action to get value out of this guy, because I can't imagine anything worse than having to activate him before things get in range.
Can you imagine failing a morale on this guy? How sad would you be?
Well, that's why the spell exists, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, sounds like gratuitous trauma.
Tough 30. These are too expensive. This makes him too one-dimensional. I like the deadly 9 on him, and these are too pricey. 1,300. Is 1,300 fit in 3K? It just does.
No.
This is a 4K setup.
Yep.
Yikes. No, it would. 1,400 would be 4K. Yeah, okay. So it doesn't fit in.
Yeah, you said 3K.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Mention in the comments below if we're both just stupid.
Look.
Maybe don't mention. We already know.
Yeah, you don't need to tell us. Yeah. Oh, actually, no changes, no notes. He's good. You can get really spendy on him. I don't think it's worth it. Tough 30's hilarious. This is better than my Baneblade by far. But he costs a lot more.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah,
4K
I'd be scared
exclusive.
of this. This is like I went to play war games, but I have to look after the kid, so I just put him on the table and he kicks over your models, and you can't do anything about it because it's my kid.
This is I got invited to a 4K game and I only want to bring 3 models.
Yeah,
I don't like transporting models.
one of them's a baby carrier.
So let's have a chat about Titan Lords in general, where we think they're at and what it's like to play them and verse them. So just in general, I actually don't think Titan Lords is very good, and I'll explain why. So they've gotten a lot cheaper this edition. Undoubtedly, this is actually some pretty cheap models for the amount of toughness and defense. But they got the Vassal Micro-Titan, which allows them to have more board presence and be in more places, which is good as well. But in addition to that, there's been some pretty significant increases in damage across the board. There's some very scary rules out there now, like Slayer, which will just murderize this entire list. And Deadly as well is it's the same kind of effectiveness, but there's more ways to buff it now that you can just pile in tons of Deadly into things, which has left Titan Lords in a place where if you know Titan Lords is coming, if you're a Titan Lords player in the group and people know you're bringing Titan Lords, they're not tough enough that they can survive the amount of Deadly if someone is planning for you. You can start picking these up extremely quick if you're optimizing around it. But if you ambush someone and they don't have the level of Deadly or anti-defense 2 to deal with you, then yeah, you might be able to overrun them, which is an extremely weird army. What do you think so far about the new 1.51?
Look, base pure Titan Lords, just looking at it, are probably one of, if not the worst fun options to pick. Now, if I can explain what I mean by that, there's a concept that comes up a lot of like an all-comers list, as sort of that's how you ideally design your list around. I don't know who my opponent is. I've got to build like a mixed list. That's where you sort of tend to have a lot of fun. And then you have that person who shows up with a skew list where it's, oh, here's my only 10,000 Hormigons, or here's my
Is 10 tanks.
only, yeah, here's 10 tanks. And this army is just always 10 tanks, right? Or
And
less
it's
tanks,
coming, and there's no way around it. That's what's coming.
yeah. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? If you know there's Titan Lords player going to be there, if you're going to a game against Titan Lords player, you know what to take to beat him. He's not going to have fun. If you don't, you're not going to have fun. So it's a weird middle ground. At a tournament, I could see where people have to continue using the same list. Sure, everyone's got to kind of build a all-comers list. It kind of forces you into that position, but they don't feel like they'd compete super well in those spots with the advances the other lists have gained over this edition change as well. I think that's a very, very clear point that you made there. But I think generally, because I think in terms of not necessarily tournaments, but making sure everyone's having fun in just friendly matches around, I think the best way to run these, hands down, is going to be in a mixed list. And I think they have a lot to offer as a sort of support contingent amongst some of the other armies like Inquisition or Machine Cults. Hell, even HDF if you want, as sort of an alternate to their tanks. I think that's the real niche where Titan Lords will shine as a good list to play, but it's not really what we can evaluate them on, right?
Where would you put them if you just had to run them on their own?
In terms of like
viability and
power,
yeah,
or yeah, I mean in terms of power, maybe like upper C.
interesting. I'm putting him D. Because I know if you were a Titan Lords player and we were going to have a game and I wanted to win that game, I'd bring unholy amounts of deadly. It's a really bad, like you said, it's a bad feeling because I don't want to get overrun. So I want to bring deadly stuff. But I also don't want to list tailor too much. But then if you're running Titan Lords, I kind of have to. But if I do list tailor, then you can just absolutely crush this army. Can you imagine what let's just say you took 4 squads of Dow with Slayer against this. They might not reach turn 3. It could be that bad. You could pick up 2 of these a turn probably.
Yeah.
Hidden against HGF with hidden melters everywhere that you just can't chew through, and you just can't get to the meat of the melters that are just slaughtering you.
Flying las cannons on the Valkyries too.
Yep. There's lots of ways you can do it. It's
and you'd build for it, obviously, because that's what that's what your opponents brought.
Yeah, it's not hard to counter them, and that's just the killing aspect. It's also they have that flaw of at the end of the game, in most standard games, it's going to be turn 4 who's holding the most objectives. There might be only 2 or 3 Titans left because you probably only bought 4 or 5, and that might mean you could auto lose on turn 4 if you don't shake in your opponent. It's just they're a tough one.
I think when you say bottom D, like D tier terrible, I think I feel even worse. I wouldn't put them on the list at all if it was coming down to like fun as a solo list.
Yeah.
You can have fun in a game with these guys, and your opponent can have fun. If you build lists together to make a sort of middle ground, somehow you could have fun. But any game where the lists are obscured and you're there to have fun, if your opponent knows you're taking it, you don't have fun. If you know but your opponent doesn't, they don't have fun. You need so much extra, like, perfect cohesion with you and the other player to come out with, like, let's play a fun game.
And other lists don't need that. So, like the other OPR lists, they're the balance with the way that everything's costed, and the internal balance between the different abilities, it's reasonable enough and close enough that I don't feel bad going into almost any general list. It's fine. I'll be able to deal with it, and I can play a reasonable game into like any opponent. But yeah, the Titans, you need to have, like you said, that sort of unwritten understanding between you and your opponent about how it's going to run, how much list tailoring you're going to do, how much are you not going to do, which is that kind of stuff always gets fuzzy, and it can lead to feel bad moments. And
we're not here to feel bad. We're here to play with plastic soldiers.
Yeah, and just on like a cutthroat level, like if you are being competitive, you're both being competitive, then you're going to get splattered if your opponent goes full power into list tailoring trying to kill Titan Lords, because there's so much high quality deadly and powerful rules that do damage to defense too, and tough models with very discounted shooting and melee.
Now, after all these horrible things we say, to explain why I say upper C for competitive, right? Obviously, one, in the general sense, if you go to a tournament where everyone's got mixed lists, they're not going to be able to prepare fully for you, so you have that advantage there. But one of the other things that I actually considered in our game is those Vassal Micro-Titans draw me as like the most interesting part of the list, because it's your small little guys. They're going to be the equivalent of your opponent's infantry. Their scout, they're going to be the first thing they interact with. They can actually take wounds to things that, like your opponent's blast won't affect this army, but if your opponent's built anti-infantry with like massed firepower, or in your case, like you were playing Alien Swarm, so it was a volume of attacks, you still can peel through these with those armies. So there is sort of a light in the tunnel for a lot of the different lists that you could be playing. You know, even without Range Slayer, just like a bunch of AP1 shots into these will peel through it eventually. It's just, it is a slog. It is a slog even in that case. But yeah, I think if you like playing these Titans, you can, with your friends, with this sort of shared understanding that like we need to really think about the list building. But I think the better way to go about it is to just mix in some normal units from another list, some infantry. Just throw in some Mechanicus, throw in some HDF. I really like mixing with Inquisition, just because I think Inquisition has the same problem, but in the other direction.
Yeah, I think a lot of the problems stem from them being a pure list on their own, which is how most people play OPR. Just on their own, they have so many inherent weaknesses. They have, yeah, incredible strengths with the defense and toughness and stuff like that, but there's such obvious ways to mitigate that, and it's an objectives game, and these, by their very nature, have less models to go into objectives.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have a look at some lists for how we would run them. So we'll start with mine. We've both got 2K lists this time.
Mm-hmm.
2,000 points is actually incredibly hard to build a Titan Lords list. You have to make a lot of sacrifices, but let's see how I've done it. So 2 Vassal Micro-Titans. So they're running Scout Strider Lustbound, so they're getting that first turn charge if my opponent is more than 8 inches from his board edge. Now, one of them's got the heavy swords with rending, and the other one's got the thrust. That's just how the points came out. But either one is fine to run. I've got 2 of the Errant Mini-Titans. They've got the Lustbound for the big charges as well. They've got the delayed action, and we are running AP4 heavy fists. So these are combat walker equivalents. They go into nasty targets. They're my main damage. And they're going to be the main ones contesting objectives at the end of the game, most likely. And then a Yeoman Mini-Titan. So this is my ranged deadly to get rid of likely my enemy's tanks. They're going to be the main threat to my Titans. Just running him stock. So he's got Deadly 6, he's got the Deadly 3 Top Fuser, Warbound, of course, and delayed action as well. So pretty simple. These guys are going to be doing early charges and lots of early pressure. These guys are going to be the main damage that comes in turn 2, with lots of AP4 attacks, hopefully winning a lot of combats and deleting units. And the Yeoman Mini-Titan is going to be dueling the anti-tank. It's got 8 activations equivalent with the delayed actions built in, so that's solid. And it's not an overinvestment, so it still should be useful at the end of the game if it's just these guys left.
Mm.
Any notes?
Yeah. I think we can all kind of see to an extent where this might have some struggles, which is the limited number of attacks across the board. But at the same time, it's 2,000 points. They're not going to be able to kill you. So you'll be able to hold off pretty well on the objectives. They're even going to struggle with the Vassal Micro-Titans at this point. So I think when you play this, perhaps your Vassal Micro-Titans don't scout into the open as close as possible. I think you might want to take advantage of a little bit of hidey seek and delay some actions instead, nice and early on, and start doing your counter moves with those Vassal Micro-Titans after that's done. That's how I see myself.
Turn 1 with the scouts. That's the other option to run melee scouts is just go at the bottom of turn 1 and have that presence on the board for counter charging. All right, let's have a look at yours. So, talk us through it.
So, look, I mean, in my head, you're playing big robots, low model count. You want keep it simple, keep it basic, something that's going to work, and you don't really need to think about was this one have again, was this one have again. Here you go. You've got 2 entries. You've got 5 activations, or 5 normal activations, 2 of which have the delayed action, which is nice. So you can get all the way up to 7 with this. Those 3 Vassal Micro-Titans with heavy swords, that's your bread and butter. That's going to fight anything that's not a tank. That's going to be your, you've got 9 attacks, AP1, some rending. You've got Warbound. They're scouting, so you're only deploying the Yeomans first, and those vassals, you just wait and see what your opponent does and counter deploy him with them. I went for regen because when you're going at 2k points on these small ones, that's going to make more of a difference as well. That's going to help you make sure you win those combats that you inevitably end up in. Just even ones where you charge, you might not necessarily win otherwise. If you think you're putting those up against a combat walker, they might struggle, but less so with the regen to an extent. They're more likely to survive just by that chance another turn. Yeah, and I mean, ideally your yeoman just push up as far as possible, sit in as in the open as possible, and just ping things from the get-go and try and push and control an objective. I this is just sort of like a very simple idea, I think. And when you're playing, when you come to a plastic soldier game where everyone's got their little armies lined up in rows, and you just put on down your, 5 action figure models that are out of the wrong scale, and roll your 3 dice and say, actually, I deal infinite damage and kill you, which is, I feel like, what you want to do when you play Titan Lords. I feel like this perfectly encapsulates it. And
Maximum warbound value too.
Yeah.
All the cheap warbound. Got the forward pressure with the scouts. It's actually going to 3 melee scouts is going to be super annoying for the opponents who are putting forward scouts, because they're not really going to be able to deal with 3 Vassal Micro-Titans with lots of swords coming at them. So they're going to have to almost play in their deployment if they're scouting, or just scout away from them, which is what you want. You want them to waste their abilities. All right.
Very
any other
impressive
notes
list.
for Titan Lords? Any help we can give players for winning their games?
I made a lot of jokes at the expense of Titan Lords players. I get it. Big robots are cool. I
They
understand
are cool.
it. I feel the same. They're cool as shit. We've played BattleTech. You played a lot more BattleTech. Played a bit of Lancer. Big Mech's cool. Yeah. The most fun I've had with these, though, in the end, was when I've run mixed lists. It's cool to have the theme of the medieval knight mecha that you kind of get from that 40k Titan Lords or Knights vibe, and slapping that onto a classic sci-fi army or the AdMech or whatever. It's just a nice idea. So that's, to me, that's the best use for Titan Lords. I can't really stomach running them pure. It's just not, D tier for fun.
We might have been over criticizing them a little bit. I do think they are D tier, but they are not unplayable. They're actually kind of scary depending on your lineup. But they are challenging if your opponent is ready, or if they have a semi decent list. But still usable. And this Vassal Micro-Titan is an excellent piece that's got added to them. So I look forward to everyone letting us know how their Titan Lords games have gone. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe they're crushing everyone in your meta. We'd like to know.
Yeah.
That'll do us for this week. Have a good one, everyone.
Yeah. Ciao.